Okay, I promised a little review. You can either look at this before or after you do the slides, but this is for Chapter 1, Part 1 slides. And I'm just going to bring up a few slides. One would be here that we're going to cover why you choose the food you do, how nutrition is connected to good health, and what are the classes and sources of nutrients. I'm sure you already know some of these things, so you might learn a few new pieces to fill in the blanks. So why we choose might influence might be our family, it might be our tastes, it might be textures we like or don't like. It might be based on our hunger or our appetite. Hunger being a physiological, like need to eat, and appetite being more of a emotional, like I smell something I want to try. Um, and then what factors influence how full, how satiated we get after a meal. And that might be different for different people. Some people like to be the 80-20 rule. Well, I only want to be 80% full. Others want to be 100% full. Other people would rather not drink a fluid while they're eating because it fills their stomach up too fast and drink between meals. So there's a lot of differences in how we feel about food and when we eat and what we eat. So there's the appetite being the psychological desire, like I just smell something good, I want to eat. It'd just be good to break up. I'm tired of studying. I want to break. This food tastes good. Or it's just like I'm really hungry. Um, then there's other things that affect our eating. We actually have a part of our hypothalamus that tells us when we're hungry, when we're full, and that's connected to some of the hormones in our gut. So if we have hunger, it's usually set apart by a particular hormone called ghrelin that makes us um, tell us we're hungry. Not only do we hear the grumbling and rumbling in our stomach, but actually we start feeling that kind of emptiness, like we really need to eat, and lightheadedness. So that hormone ghrelin actually tells our brain to stimulate this desire to eat. And then as we get full, as we eat, another hormone called leptin actually that's produced and stored in our fat actually is sparked or triggered so that we do feel that satiety. Because some people have brain abnormalities where they don't even notice when they're full. So a normal person has hormones that are very active and they work in conjunction with our brain to tell us when we're full and when we're hungry. Um, then as far as the nutrients themselves, we talk about there's classes of nutrients. Some of these nutrients do not provide calories, but we have to have. These are essential minerals and vitamins, water, fiber just for normal bowel movements, and then we do get calories from three major sources: fat, carbohydrate, and protein. But as you know, alcohol does provide calories. It's an additional fourth group of macronutrients. Um, and then another slide that might be interesting is this one that shows the classes. So we just talked about vitamins, minerals, fats, proteins, carbohydrates, water. These are kind of considered the normal essential classes of nutrients. So we will study, this is largely what we'll study this whole semester. There's a whole chapter on fats, a whole chapter on proteins, a whole chapter on carb, a whole chapter on water, and several chapters on minerals and vitamins that that you'll know. And I'm going to show you what those are. So if you actually look at this chart here, this tells us that we're going to do a chapter on immunity. So these are the vitamins and the minerals that are particularly important to fight to fight disease and pathogens and to build our immunity. These are the vitamins and minerals for bone health that are particularly important. These are the minerals that are important for electrolyte fluid balance. If we don't have a sufficient amount of sodium, potassium, we can be dehydrated. For blood health, these vitamins and minerals. You've probably heard of iron. We always think of iron for blood health, but there's other important nutrients. For antioxidant systems, these are systems that help us maintain cell health and then prevent cancer growth. There's quite a few vitamins and minerals for that. And lastly, for energy metabolism. So just because carbohydrates gives us energy, that's not the only nutrient we need for energy. Our body actually has to have particularly B vitamins to help activate the carbohydrate so that it produces ATP. So those are the main minerals and vitamins that we'll be covering over the semester. There's one other category of foods that isn't really in this list, and that's the phytochemicals. It's relatively new. When I was in school, it wasn't even really even that well known, but already we've developed quite a series of chemicals that are not essential. They're not considered vitamins or minerals, but they are considered very beneficial. And so we'll talk about these throughout the semester, and there's a whole chapter on this topic. And then at the end, well, here's a little bit about the different types of vitamins. There's a water and a fat-soluble vitamins, as you've probably heard of those, that we have to have sufficient amount of fat in our bodies to be able to absorb the fat solubles. And then I just want to mention that I'm giving you a trial here. I'm giving you a video to watch on vitamins and minerals. But in addition to that, I think this will work. I've set up a little question and answer that you can do if you sign in. Once you've watched that video, you can sign into this site, sign into our classroom, and answer the questions. And I will receive response of what questions you've answered. So you need to do, well, this is a trial. I'm not giving you points for it, but I'll actually look to see who has done the quizzes and how that worked out. And then there's review questions, again, for you just to do on your own. So the last part of this, a lot of these slides just talks about some more minerals that are be important for you. So there's a whole list of minerals. There's major minerals and minor or trace minerals. So it just means that trace minerals we need in quite small quantities. Major minerals we need in very large quantities in comparison. So if you look at this chart, calcium we need about 1,200 milligrams a day. Iodine we need 0.03 milligrams a day. But they're all essential, just in hugely different amounts. So that's largely what the first part of this week's studies will be, an overview of nutrition. Thank you.